What's good, y'all? Let's talk about Isaiah Elliot. Man, this story grinds my gears, it bubbles my barley, it just really messes me up in here. Let me preface this video by saying that these online classes that are occurring because of COVID are not the same as in-person learning. That should go without saying, but apparently it does not. Here's the story. A 12-year-old boy was suspended for a gun seen in his room. It was a toy gun and it was seen in his room. Now we're going to get into this story and I'm going to break it down for you. Let's start with the video.
This is the toy gun, a green and black zombie hunter with an orange tip that led to Isaiah Elliott's 5-day suspension. The 12-year-old has a collection of toy guns, but his parents never thought he'd be suspended because of a toy that never left his house.
He's in the comfort of his own home, and for the school to expect for there not to be any type of toys or anything around someone's home, it's just pretty ridiculous.
Dad, Curtis Elliott, is furious.
Okay, right off the bat, let's play devil's advocate. Because it is the school's prerogative to create an environment that is conducive to the learning experience. So I can understand them having rules about what can be in the background. So what I want to see the school policies which they made specifically for the coronavirus and specifically for e-learning, and see if they told the students what was allowed to be in the background, what wasn't allowed to be in the background. It's a new thing. They were just thrown into it. However, if they did make these rules, I want to see what was the rules.
As suspending him for 5 days, sending the police out, having the police threaten to press charges against him because they want to compare the virtual environment to the actual in-school environment.
Did you just hear that? Suspended for 5 days, sent the police out, threatened charges. Why? Like she said, the home environment is not the same as the school environment. Even if it wasn't a toy gun, even if it was a real gun, why not call the parents? Right? Why not call the parents and let the parents handle it?
It's insane.
What a teacher at Grand Mountain School near Colorado Springs noticed in a virtual class prompted the principal to call El Paso sheriff deputies. The problem solvers obtained the sheriff report, and it confirms the teacher said she assumed it was a toy gun, but was not certain.
If her main concern was his safety, a 2-minute phone call to me or my husband could have easily alleviated this whole situation.
There you go.
To where I told them it was fake.
There
Neither
you
parents
go.
knew the school was recording their son's virtual class, but now say the district refuses to provide the video.
This is the toy gun that he was playing with.
Deputies did show the video to Curtis, and he showed us exactly what he saw.
He was playing with the toy gun on this side of the couch. He picked it up, moved it like that to the other side of the couch. It just flashed across the school computer screen for maybe 1 or 2 seconds.
Just flashed across the school. Suspended. That makes no sense. And let me break it down to you like this. He wasn't even playing with the gun on the camera. He was playing with it off to the side, and I don't know why he moved it to the other side, but it wasn't even in the background. It was a 2-second flash. She said she wasn't sure whether or not it was a real gun. You suspended him? It could have been anything. It could have been his cell phone. You weren't sure. He just flashed the cell phone across the screen, and you got the police at his doors. They tripping.
It would have been a lot easier for me to understand if my son had made a threat.
Now they say their son has been traumatized by deputies telling their 12-year-old this could potentially lead to criminal charges in the future.
Yup. I've broken the law before. I know how it feels to be worried about that phone call, detectives calling you, and you trying to dodge the phone call, your heart be pounding, you be like, man, I hope they stop calling. There's a potential that even if you don't go to jail, your life is going to be heavily impacted with court, the record, arrest. Is really scary to think about. It's really, really scary for a 12-year-old to think about.
He was in tears when the cops came, he was just in tears and he was scared.
It's crazy.
Whitefield District Number 3 refused an interview request from the problem solvers, instead emailing a statement that reads in part, "We follow all school board policies, whether we are in-person learning or distance learning. We take the safety of all of our students and staff very seriously. Safety is always our number one priority." But Isaiah's parents say safety was never a true issue. And suspending their son, who has been diagnosed with ADHD, helps no one.
I definitely feel as if they
All right, that's a news tactic you use to say he's diagnosed with ADHD. Everybody's diagnosed with ADHD. You know, you don't need to add on to the story. It's bad enough as it is. You ain't got to say he got ADHD. That's a news tactic. That's kind of funny.
crossed the line and they were extreme with their punishment, especially sending the police out and traumatizing my son and my family.
Now this afternoon, the parents tell me they're transferring Isaiah to a new school. The district says it won't be recording classes without parents' permission from now on. Tonight at 9, investigative reporter Lauren.
Did you hear that? Top it off. They were recording the classes without the parents' permission. That's a lawsuit. I mean, this whole thing is a lawsuit, but that's a lawsuit too. I mean, if it were me, I'd be in the courts pressing charges. I'd be trying to get the teacher and the principal arrested. Attempted murder. Murder by police.
Reporter Jane Gleha will share the story of an 11-year-old boy in Jefferson County, also suspended 5 days for a toy gun seen during his virtual classroom.
They
control
have
talk with
no
the White
chill.
State School Board, who has concerns with how the district reacts.
Man, the NRA should be all over this case. You can't even be comfortable with a toy gun. Let's flip over to the story. Here's the story. 12-year-old boy suspended over toy gun seen in school. So, Colorado Springs, a 12-year-old boy has been suspended for having a toy gun he never brought to school. Never brought to school. It's a virtual class. If your policy is you can't bring a gun to school, he didn't break the rules because you were in the house. If they created a new policy specifically for virtual learning, which I highly doubt, I want to see it. I want to see it say you cannot have toys in the background, or you cannot have anything that resembles a weapon in the background, or whatever rule he broke. I want to see specifically the rule he broke, because the news is making it seem like the rule he broke was bringing a gun to school because school is virtual, and that's just ridiculous. On Thursday, August 27th, a few weeks ago, the 7th grader was attending online art classes. That's interesting. When a teacher saw Isaiah flash a toy gun across his computer screen, just flashed it. It could have been his art project. It could have been some Play-Doh. Whoop. Suspended. I was doing the assignment. Y'all tripping. That wasn't a gun, it was a boot. Y'all tripping. The toy in question is a neon green and black handgun with an orange tip with the words "Zombie Hunter" printed on the side. Okay, we already saw the toy gun. This is the toy gun. It says "Zombie Hunter" on the side, is green, it has an orange tip. How does she think that that's a real gun? I'll tell you how. Because she didn't even get a good look at it as it just, whoop, what was that? Y'all can't tell me. So she ain't even really see the gun, but you sending the police out. The teacher notified the principal, who suspended Isaiah for 5 days and called the El Paso Sheriff's Office to conduct a welfare check on the boy without calling his parents first. So you have time to call the principal, you have time to call the sheriff, but you can't call the parents. The parents, if it was a real gun and if it was a real situation happening at the house, the parents are the best suited. Maybe the parents might already be home. They could just come upstairs. Or if they at work, they could call the neighbor. My child, he has a gun. I'm worried. I don't know where he got it from. Can you please go check on him? Maybe the parents could have called Isaiah. Hey boy, what you doing? You got a gun there? You better put that thing down. I'm on my way home right now. The parents could respond quicker than anybody else. Yes, defund the police, because armed police officers do not need to be doing any type of welfare checks. Call the social workers for that. That's why we need to defund the police. Not get rid of them completely or anything. Just give them less money, give them less responsibilities, and bring these social workers in to do their job. Cause I know let's watch this video of Tamir Rice. This is what could have happened to Isaiah Elliott. 14 seconds, 15 seconds. Here goes the police. 17, 18, 19. Bam. He just that quick. From 18 seconds, they pull up, get out the car at 20 seconds. By 22 seconds, Tamir Rice is dead. Yes, this was attempted murder by the principal, by the teacher, by the schools. Attempted murder. I say press charges on them. It was really frightening and upsetting for me as a parent, especially the parent of an African American young man. You just saw the clip. Yes, parents should be scared. It's sad to say that calling the police on a child is attempted murder, but in today's climate, calling the police on a child with a gun, that's attempted murder. With a toy gun, that's attempted murder. It is sad. For them to go to the extreme of suspending him for 5 days, right? What about detention? What about extra homework? What about any other punishment? A 1 day suspension, a 2 day suspension before you give him the 5 day suspension? It's just ridiculous. This is the father. It would have been a lot easier for me to understand if my son had made a threat. Right. If the son pointed the gun at the screen and was like, yo, you better stop talking to me, boy. That's suspension worthy. That's something that's probably already in their school policy, that you're not allowed to threaten students with toy guns and not toy guns, through a screen and not through a screen. I could understand that. It doesn't matter where you are when you make a threat, but it does matter where you are if you're just playing with your toys and if your toys just happen to resemble a gun. Here they're talking about the privacy laws prevent us from sharing students' personal information, which includes disciplinary action. Okay, so that's why they didn't release the video. They haven't released the video because privacy laws, they're not allowed to, which you know, I trust the father. The father says he saw the video. The father says it was a flash across the screen. The teacher didn't even recognize a toy gun with an orange tip was fake or real. So yeah, I trust the father when he said it flashed across the screen for a few seconds. Absolutely. Anyways, I just can't anymore with this story. So here's the question: should virtual classes be treated as real classes? And what are some punishments that students could be given because you don't have detention? So what are some punishments that could be given? Let's talk about it.